Hello and welcome to a brand new episode of the program Sport Pizza, where you get the absolute best in the ever exciting world of sport. My name is Brownson Uwana, your host. Now, last weekend was goal galore for the Nigerian players all over Europe. I mean, Iheanacho, of course, crowned it all with a brace. What a feat that is for the Nigerian players abroad. And also, lots of things making the rounds, Uefa Champions League. Some people's fate has been decided, but attention will be on the Europa League. Who would make it to the quarterfinals? Time will tell definitely this week. All that will be decided. And also, Rafael Nadal, the old wine they call him, is looking forward to the clay court season. Don't forget, he's a clay court specialist. What's going to happen in the Masters as a build-up to the Grand Slam? We'll take a quick break. We'll return with much more. Don't go away. Welcome back. Olakule Philip joins me on the program today. Olakule Philip, good to have you.
Top of the day to you, Brownson Nwankwo. It's good to be back here to talk sport, and I'm really very delighted because a lot of happenings went down last weekend, and I'm really itching to really talk about them.
Lots of things to talk about, but let's start from the fact that a handful of Nigerian players, couple of our strikers, were on scoreboard last weekend. I mean, it was very exciting. And if you're Jidoro at this point, you must be thinking, how do you select just two players, just two strikers to start, where you have areas of stars scoring week in, week out in Europe?
It was going to be very keenly contested because I think it's been a long time that we've been in this kind of situation before, where we have so many Nigerians scoring in, week out, and I'm really very delighted. Paul Onuachu getting his 29th goal for Genk.
Wow.
We had Simeon Nwankwo also scoring his 16th goal. Is historical. It has never happened. Even when Obafemi Martins was there, I think at the point in time he had 10 goals or thereabout in a season. He has not had it this good, scoring as many as 16 goals in a league that is as tough as the Italians we have. We also have so many other players going in. Murphy for Lorient. I saw that header he scored. Joe Aribo as well. He got that goal. The manner in which he scored that goal was absolutely breathtaking. Not forgetting the man of the moment, Iheanacho.
The senior man himself.
The senior man himself. It was really. They call him Nacho as well. It was absolutely fantastic. We still saw those goals. The first one they got, the team were down, and it looks like, the players were not really at their best. I'm talking about the Leicester players against West Ham United. But towards the end of the game, Iheanacho came into reckoning, got that beautiful goal. You saw the first goal where the defender mistakenly gave him a pass. Being between two defenders, his turn, and the finish was absolutely fantastic, absolutely breathtaking. And the second one again, typical of a top striker, in between two defenders, was able to lashing on the ball, and he went into the net. Victor Osimhen, also one of the goals he scored. It reminded me of the goal he scored against Lesotho, where it was, I think it was brought in by Iheanacho, and he went straight against one-on-one with the goalkeeper. The defender was pursuing, and of course, he knows where to place the ball, and he went into the net. Just the way it happened, it also happened against I think it was against Sassuolo, and it did very well getting that pass. The defender was trying to disturb, then he moved in and got in the goal. It was absolutely fantastic. I think I'm very, very happy. The question you asked, General will have a lot of headache right now picking players. Let's not forget, Sadiq Umar also plies his trade with Almeria, and he's been scoring in, week out. And there's this speculation about, Bayern Munich, requesting, asking questions, making inquiries about the player. So I think General will really have a lot of headache picking the best players. Remember, I think the last time this happened was, dates back to 1994, where we had George Finidi in Ajax of Amsterdam. We had Kanu Nwankwo also in Ajax of Amsterdam. We had different players. We had Ashidi Yekini in Victoria Setúbal, and these guys were scoring in, week out for their respective clubs.
You also had Munike in FC Barcelona.
Yeah. We had Mutiu Adepoju in I think we also said that. Yeah. These were players that Stephen Keshi in Strasbourg at that time. Daniel Amokachi was playing for FC Bruges in the Belgian league. They were scoring in, week out, and when you check in those days, we don't have the opportunity to watch the Nigerian games like we do right now. We don't get to see the highlights on a regular basis. But when you hear, 10 African players scoring, you will always see 6 Nigerians scoring.
But you know, overall, but if you want to look at it, African Cup of Nations comes January 2022. You want to say that if you look at the quality we have in our midfield, I mean, indeed, it seems to be one of the finest midfielders in England right now. If you look at what's his name again? Onuachu, doing very well, fantastic. And I mean, you want to say that we have the best legs to win the African Cup of Nations.
You mentioned Aribo.
I mean, fantastic. Don't forget, he's also he's a title.
Title winner. Yeah,
a team that also have Leon Balogun in that defense. You have William Troost-Ekong with Watford. I mean, we have guys right now that can win us the AFCON. So I think 2021 should be the benchmark and the opportunity for us to reclaim that title. And also, don't worry, let's think about our player. We can talk about our player for the whole show. But the National Festival is absolutely buzzing. But Kule, the last National Sports Festival, we saw a lot of...
It's been a long time. The last one, I think it happened in Lagos State.
It happened in Lagos. And looking at the last National Sports Festival was in Abuja.
Okay.
Yeah, and then there were lots of things. Even though we criticized the organization in Abuja, but the one we are having this year left nothing to be desired.
Well, I think it has to be. We have to understand what the organizers went through prior to the main event taking center stage. I remember that it was supposed to take center stage. It was supposed to happen 2 years ago. Then, it was postponed till last year. Then COVID-19 erupted, and they kept postponing and postponing. And at the point in time, it was looking like it might not see the light of the day. We were here casting aspersions on the governors and the organizers, even the presidency, because the presidency are supposed to organize, to release funding for this tournament. And then, there was so much controversy as well. At the point in time, it was looking like the festival was not going to see the light of the day because the funds were not released, and the Delta State governor was, complaining about the fact that the state is really financially handicapped at the moment. And, it was 2-3 days to the event, it was looking like might not see the light of the day. We should be happy about the fact that the National Sport Festival is back. It's not generating the momentum that we've seen it generate over the years, but I think I'm excited for the organizers, for the athletes who are participating. It's been sad. It's been disheartening. These are the way in which it's a way in which the athletes test their might, their strength ahead of top competitions. Now, if they don't get to showcase what they have, how will they be able to hoist the flag of the country very high? How will they be able to get themselves prepared ahead of major events to take center stage in the future? So that is why it was very expedient that the National Sport Festival takes center stage, and I'm really very delighted. Let's forget about the fact that it's not generating the news. It's not in the news like what we used to have back then. We should be happy that after all said and done, after so many years, the National Sport Festival is back.
And also, let's consider the fact that the Olympic still holds next year. And of course, we need tournaments like this to get those athletes that will represent the nation come next year Olympic. Now, let's move to England. Now, the VAR was brought into football, to help referees make accurate decisions. But while most leagues seems to be getting it right, there's still lots of controversy rocking the VAR in England. Now, there were lots of calls that VAR could have done better last weekend, but it seemed otherwise. Now, notable one among most of those incidents has to be the game between Wolves last weekend. We also saw Liverpool in the midst of controversy. Manchester United, who have benefited from VAR decisions, were also victims of VAR, amongst others. Now, Kule,
I don't know why you have to mention Manchester United.
The VAR controversy in that game as well.
Absolutely.
But also, you also have to admit that Manchester United have also benefited from VAR decisions.
The call is questionable. I think I really say the referee is spot on to have disallowed the goal scored by Edinson Cavani, and prior to the goal, the build-up to the goal was also a bit questionable. Though they've told the last 4 touches on the ball by Manchester United was absolutely breathtaking before Cavani scored that goal. But then I think the VAR was spot on in disallowing that goal, because there was a foul on Song prior to the game. But you know, when you talk about the other game involving Liverpool.
Now, for the Liverpool, I look at Diogo Jota. I mean, I looked at that replay over and over. Now, even after halftime, the match analysis couldn't make sense out of VAR's decision, because if you look at Jota's hand, his positioning, I mean, I've looked at it over and over and over. I found absolutely nothing wrong. In fact, there was nothing offside about that decision.
There was nothing offside about it. I had to watch it over and over again, and I think that decision is highly questionable. It is uncalled for. It's disheartening. It's sad one. It's a sad one for Liverpool. Though they went ahead to win that game. Yeah, but if they had lost the game against Aston Villa, what would have happened? Probably they would have felt hard done. But because of the fact that they won that game, they came back to win that game by 2-1. Probably that would have eased them. That was a clear goal. There was no offside whatsoever, because the guy from West Ham United had his hand up above
Jota.
Above Jota. So I think the decision was highly questionable. It wasn't the best of officiating. I think for the coaches, I mean, for the referee and the rest, the officials and all of them, I think it was a bad day in the office for them.
Now, not just that game again, we also had that bad call by VAR on the weekend. Newcastle United were aggrieved as the referee and VAR somehow denied them a penalty despite James Tavosky's high boot. I mean, the rule is clear. When there's an attack on a player and a high boot is showed, that's a straight red and also a free kick. But that wasn't what we saw on the night.
I'm disappointed. I am really disappointed with the officials this time around. They didn't do the needful. I think I'm beginning to ask questions. Some of those officials go for, the trainings, that the normal trainings they're supposed to get before becoming referees. Because some of us here, when the defender launched, he had his leg up to the head of that player, and I shouted where I was, because I feel that if he had hit him hard, probably the guy would have been unconscious. He will have landed in the hospital. Look at the intention, and I think that it happened right in the box 18.
But let's talking about.
It should have been a clear penalty.
Let's also consider these referees. In what scenario, or what would you think made the referee not to have given that penalty?
I don't know. It's their personal decisions. It's a personal decision by them. It is not. It is against the rules of the game. When the leg is up above the shoulder, it is clearly a foul, and it happened right inside the box 18. So it should have been a penalty. I think the problem with most of these referees, I get disappointed, because when the decisions are made, they go back to the VAR, they replay it over and over
and
again,
they come back and
they
make
give a faulty decision. I don't know what they're thinking. They should be checked. Some of them should be checked. That's my take. They should be checked. They should be asked questions on why they take, because they see it before most of us. They look at it over and over again. They go for the replay over and over again, and yet they still get it wrong. What could be happening? So that means that something is absolutely wrong somewhere, and they need to be checked.
I must tell you, Kule, the FA had lots of questions to answer as far as this is concerned. If VAR is not really helping decisions, I think we should go back to the normal way where we just believe the linesman's decision. Let's take a very quick break. We'll be back with much more. Don't go away. Welcome back. Now, the CAF Confederation Cup, I would have said it's absolutely buzzing, but we are not smiling at this time, as most Nigerian clubs representing the country isn't doing very well. Enyimba were well beaten last weekend and by ES Setif of Algeria, a sad one indeed. In other results, Cotton Sports were 5-1 better than Napsa Stars. And Kena FC were 1-0 better than Nagudo. Orlando Pirates 3-0 over Al Hilal. And the Etoile du Sahel, of course, were held to a 2-2 draw with CX Sfaxien. And of course, Kabylie played out a goalless draw with Brekene. And of course, Pyramid lost at home to Raja Casablanca. I must tell you, that was one of the most surprising results of the weekend, apart from Enyimba. But Kule, what happened to Nigerian football? I mean, we used to at least, dominate to some certain level, but sometimes as group stage, we're already out from Champions League to Confederation Cup. Confederation Cup, we're already out. Enyimba seems to be the only team carrying Nigeria on their shoulders. We must do better than what we are doing right now.
Yes, you are right. They must do better than what they're doing right now. You know, it has always been Enyimba and Enyimba all along. They were the only team, you know, that has won the CAF Champions League for Nigeria twice, and they are the only ones who are always representing the country very high. But prior to the game, you know, against a team, I had my reservations because I know, you know, the traveling arrangement. They were so tired, even when they were, you know, when they were making the pre-match. What's it called now? Fatai Osho was looking very tired, as well as the captain of the side. But you know, when they came calling, I was actually expecting, I was praying for a draw against the team because I knew it was going to be very difficult for them. And then they got the pasting of their lives. Even if not for John Noble, the goalkeeper who saved the penalty, also scored another goal. I mean, saved another very, you know, it was a one clear shot. You know, it could have been probably 4-5-0. I think he did his best to keep the scoreline.
Looking at the table, does anybody have mathematical chance of progressing?
Yes, they have a very good chance of progressing because as we speak, even with the loss they suffered against the team, remember they also lost against Orlando Pirates in South Africa. So they've won 2 games at home here, which gives them 6 points, while Orlando Pirates has 8 points. Remember, you talked about Orlando Pirates also winning at Al Ali Benghazi by 3-0. So they still have a very good chance. If they are able to win their, you know, all their games, they are playing at home, they win the 3 games, I think they have a mathematical chance of progressing into the next round.
I really hope so, Kunle. But let's move away from football this time around to tennis, where Rafael Nadal has declared himself fit for the clay court season. Now, world number 3, Rafael Nadal says he's fully fit and confident about his preparation as he begins his clay court season at the Monte Carlo Masters, with one eye on the pursuit of his 14th French Open crown. I mean, when it comes to the clay court, we all know who the specialist is. Yes, and of course, he's won 13 French Open title. That's to tell you how much he has dominated the clay court. But, I mean, this guy is just come back from injury. Do you think he can really stand the test of time, even though he's a court where he's very familiar with?
Yes, I think he stands a very good chance of winning it again because, you know, like you call him, he's a clay court specialist. He has won 13 already. He has dominated, you know, the French Open. And that is why he said he wants to participate in the Monte Carlo. Remember, even the Monte Carlo, he has won 12, I think 12 or thereabout.
I think 13 thereabout, yeah.
I think, okay, yeah. I think, so he's absolutely dominant when it comes to clay court. And that is why I said he's really going to prepare. He's going to use the Monte Carlo Masters to prepare himself ahead of the French Open. So it's really going to be a very massive one. But I really don't see any of those big guns talking about Rafael Nadal and
Novak Djokovic.
Novak Djokovic and Roger Federer stopping him. So it's going to be very massive.
We also have a new kid in the block, Tsitsipas. I mean, he's been fantastic.
Yes, I think it was the one that stopped him in the, was it last year in the quarterfinal?
The last Grand Slam,
The last Grand Slam in the quarterfinal or thereabout. But when you talk about the French Open,
the clay,
you know, when you have the king of the clay, then definitely it's going to be very difficult for any of those big guns to stop him. So I really don't see any of the players stopping him from dominating in the clay courts.
Now, that's a special for all those that didn't get to see the game. Beautiful game of football it was. Now, with that is a wrap on the show today. Thank you so much for being a part of it. Now, don't forget to follow us on all our social media platforms. Go to our YouTube channel. Please subscribe. And of course, so you can click the notification button so you can get notification when new materials are being uploaded. Like our pages on Facebook and Instagram. We'll be so glad to read your comments as well. Olakune Philip, thank you so much for being a part of the show.
I've really enjoyed the show, Brownson, and we hope that, you know, the Super Eagles players will continue to score goals, and we'll be very glad to always talk about them.
I really hope so too, and I also hope that we get a very good coach that can manage this talent.
You don't believe in John Raw?
It's a wrap. Let's see you again next week. My name is Brownson, and I enjoy the rest of your day.